Sri Lankans don't just like cricket, they love it. They live it, they breathe it. It may feel like cricket in Sri Lanka is no longer what it once was, that it's broken, but that hasn't stopped people from talking about it. Everyone and their grandmother has an opinion on where Sri Lanka cricket is and what needs to be done to fix it. So it should come as no surprise that politicians too want to share their 2 cents worth. For years, political parties on both sides of the divide have weighed in on controversy after controversy that has plagued the game. And this time, it's a turn of the current crop of opposition MPs. A fresh controversy has erupted in light of recent revelations about the massive expense incurred by Sri Lanka Cricket during the T20 World Cup in Australia last year. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa has deemed it so important that he asked to set aside the debate on the no-confidence motion against Health Minister Keliya Rambukwella to discuss matters related to the country's favourite sport. But why do members of parliament want a debate about Sri Lanka cricket? Samagi Jana Balawegaya MP Hesha Withanage publicly revealed the findings of a draft report by the Auditor General's Department on SLC's expenses during the 2022 ICC T20 World Cup in Australia. Among the allegations, which were also the source of some interesting memes, was SLC spending 68 million rupees and also issuing letters to 37 individuals, including family members of those in its executive committee and a handful of celebrities, to facilitate their Australian visa application process. SLC hit back, arguing that the report, which was picked up by mainstream media and circulated on social media, was a confidential draft of the audit sent by the Auditor General to the Sports Ministry to be directed to SLC for their comments on the finding. This, SLC argue, was leaked to the media before reaching them. While admitting that it did issue letters for visas, SLC President Shammi Silva said he and the Executive Committee would resign if it was proven that SLC had paid for the travel of the 37 individuals as claimed by some sections of the media. He also justified spending on the travel of its officials, saying, "This is not government money. Some think that it is public money, which it is not. This is our membership money and our membership has every right to attend World Cups at SLC expense." Which begs the question, are SLC held accountable for how they spend their money? The perception that money coming into SLC's public funds has meant that how incumbent administrators use SLC finances has long been a topic of contention. As part of SLC's governance structure, administrators must essentially work within 3 sets of regulations: the Sports Law of Sri Lanka, the SLC Constitution, and the Articles of Association of the International Cricket Council. Each sets out a framework of objectives, such as developing of the game, organizing domestic competitions, and selecting of players for international series, among others. It also requires SLC officials to maintain audited yearly accounts. But this effectively leaves the decision of how finances should be spent in the hands of the Executive Committee, which comprises of office bearers such as the President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurers, who are elected by SLC's general membership every 2 years. It also includes non-elected officials who are employed by SLC, like the Chief Executive Officer and heads of various committees. However, that is not to say that SLC cannot ever be held to account. As its accounts are audited by the National Audit Office, SLC can be called up before the Parliamentary Committee of Public Enterprise, or COPE, as it was most recently done in 2021. At those series of hearings, then Chairman of the committee, Charita Herath, reiterated this, that SLC are in fact accountable to COPE, even if it was not a government-funded sports body. He also addressed one of the biggest concerns with the autonomy that SLC enjoys in deciding how it uses its finances, that some of the money SLC gives to its members can be viewed as a paid bribe in order to maintain their vote for the next election. Later, in an interview with a mainstream newspaper, Herath said, "At the end of the day, it is a country's brand. It is not their private or personal company or club-related entity. Sri Lanka belongs to all of us, and the brand of Sri Lanka Cricket is owned by the Sri Lankan people." It seems now that they have understood that, but unfortunately the results aren't good from the ground. Does Sri Lanka Cricket need fixing? It should be pointed out that there isn't one simple solution to solving all the on-field and off-field problems Sri Lanka Cricket is facing. There are far too many complexities to cricket administration for that. But there now seems to be a consensus among former administrators, past cricketers, and SLC themselves that a revamp of SLC's constitution, specifically targeting its bloated voter base, is necessary. Currently, the SLC constitution allows for a little over 140 votes to be cast during elections, comparatively higher than other major cricket associations. For example, India, with a population of over 1 billion, has up to 38 votes available when the Board of Control for Cricket in India conducts its elections of office bearers. To change this, a group of former administrators and past cricketers filed a writ application in the Court of Appeal in 2021 to move the court to order Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe to restructure SLC's governance and voting system. In their application, they argued the root cause of the decline of Sri Lankan cricket is its poor governance, driven through the flawed constitution of SLC. The said constitution has installed a board which is not independent from its playing clubs. It is severely conflicted between club and country. This system encourages office bearers to take decisions mostly to satisfy its voter base, causing the playing standards of Sri Lankan cricket to deteriorate. In February this year, and pursuant to the writ application, the minister also publicly agreed that a new updated constitution which ensured good governance, transparency and accountability was needed, forming a 10-member committee to draft a proposed new constitution for SLC. SLC, however, called this move by the minister illegal, claiming it interfered with the constitution and due functioning of Sri Lanka cricket. But to their credit, SLC have admitted the bloated voter base needs to be addressed. They, in turn, also appointed a 10-member committee of their own to suggest constitutional amendments in the interest of Sri Lanka cricket. Implementing these constitutional changes, however, could prove to be a challenge. The former administrators and past cricketers who filed the Court of Appeal application in 2021 have suggested enforcing a new SLC constitution through an Act of Parliament. This course of action, however, could prove problematic, given the ICC's hard stance on political interference in the governing of the sport. Like in Parliament, any amendment to the SLC constitution would require the consent of its members, the clubs, district associations and other stakeholders who have voting rights. This means any changes that could be seen as self-defeating would be hard to push through, including possibly forfeiting some of their benefits as members. If this is the only hope to fix Sri Lanka cricket, as some suggest, it could just turn out to be another example that the gentleman's game isn't always played by gentlemen. Does Sri Lanka cricket need fixing? Share your thoughts in the comment section below.